This is Hunter Wade at the Athletes Lounge podcast, and I'm here with my guest.
Hi, it's Travis Connor, Coach Princeton Community Lady Tigers.
So, Coach, just getting right into things, what do you think is the outlook, or what have you seen from your team so far before, the season hasn't started yet, but what have you seen, in preseason?
Yeah, Hunter. Hey, first off, thanks for letting me be on the show, man, and talk about our squad. We're very pleased with the young ladies we have in our program and the direction we're going. So we came off a very busy summer where we were playing our best basketball by the end of June. And that kind of rolled in to as we got started last week. A lot of energy, a lot of hype in the gym, a lot of expectations others are putting on us, but we kind of hold ourselves to high expectations anyway. So just really excited. I think excitement is probably the best word to describe things right now.
So, just kind of, I guess, getting a little bit, in the X's and O's range, what do you like to do as a coach, offensively and defensively? What's your philosophy when it comes to, that stuff?
Yeah. I've been around a little while. So, obviously what you want to do, X's and O's, sometimes changes a little bit with personnel. But at the same time, my philosophy really starts with getting kids to buy in to the team first. So that's like the most important thing to us philosophically, is that every kid does their job. Every kid, accepts their role within a team, within a program, and, do that. And then, it kind of goes into hard work. We really expect our kids to really bust in the gym, because we expect on game day that we're going to play 32 minutes of basketball at a fast pace. And in order to do that, you got to bust it in practice to be able to carry that over. So I think if you talk to others, our teams are ones that usually want to play fast. We're really going to get after you on the defensive end, and really try to force tempo.
So you've been successful in a couple different stops, and how much of that have you give to the credit of the talent, and how much have you kind of had to evolve your coaching style as the years have gone on?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, I've been very blessed to have some outstanding athletes and outstanding young people that bought in to the team first approach. You don't win if they don't buy into that. So I've just been very blessed to have kids that work real hard together for one common purpose, and very blessed with assistant coaching staffs at both places I've been, whether it's Vincennes or here at Princeton Community. We've got young people that just want to work towards a common goal. And when you have that, good things can really, really happen.
So between Vincent and Princeton, are there any what are the differences? I guess, do you approach things differently between the two different stops? I guess, what's been the biggest change maybe between the two places?
I think the biggest change is you just look at our teams. Vincent's Lincoln, we were blessed with a lot of height, and that hasn't happened here yet at Princeton Community. So we've not quite had the same length that I had for a lot of years. We've kind of found some different ways to do some things on defense, to kind of, I don't want to say make up for the height, because I love the kids we have and I love how hard they play. So we've kind of had to just do some things in different ways to come at our defense a little bit different.
With How do you as a coach adapt to I guess maybe a lack of height, because traditionally height is like the thing in basketball. How do you adapt as a coach to lack of height?
So the first thing again is kid related. It's, can you get kids to buy into that different role? It's what we talked about, kind of at the beginning, is they got to understand what their role is, how they fit into a team concept. I go to last year's team. We struggled a little bit early, bad coaching, bad decisions, personnel, wrong places. And after a few games, I talked to a kid who was our point guard. She was a starting point guard the year before I got to Princeton, and really talked to her about her physicality and what we needed from her. So at that point, we took her from our point guard, and she became our post player, at all 5 feet 5 inches of her. And you're playing a Class 3A schedule. We see 6-footers night in, night out. But the first thing is you've got to have the right kid in the spot to be physically tough and willing to battle. And as Arion Wesley is that kid for us that will get in the post at 5'5" and battle 6-footers, front the post. And you know, the big thing you do when you don't have height is you put pressure on the basketball everywhere you can. And so we just try to turn the pressure up, have kids battle physically down low, and really make it difficult for teams to get the ball down low as best we can.
What I guess maybe started your interest in coaching and interest in basketball?
That's a very interesting question, and probably a little bit different than most coaches. I honestly, my first coaching experience came at the elementary school level. There was a principal in Vincennes named Bill Hopper that just needed someone to fill in the position. So I took that spot, and then as I started seeking teaching jobs, the first time I took a teaching job in Vincennes, it kind of came with the 7th grade girls basketball job, if you will. So I was more interested in the teaching job than I was the coaching job. And as that opened up, if you will, as far as on the basketball, kind of opened up that opportunity to keep on coaching. And that just kind of led from one coaching job to another, going from 7th grade, then to a freshman coach, then to a JV coach, and eventually to a varsity coach.
Is there anything you would credit your success to so far and your ability to kind of adapt to different personnel groups?
God is good. First and foremost, I'm a firm believer that we're here to do a service. We're here to live up to what we're supposed to do on this earth, and no doubt there are some tough days in our profession, both in the classroom and coaching. But the joy I get from both of those really is a credit to, I think, you know, basically Jesus put me here to do things in a way to hopefully be a benefit for young people. And so I think that ability comes from that. The ability to really get kids to buy into each other. Most of the time, I don't think it's my words, so I just speak them.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned how you got Brian the coaching. Did you have interest in sports when you were a kid, or did this kind of develop, I guess, after you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I always, you know, I have 3 brothers, so we competed in everything and anything all the time. Basketball was something I always had a passion for. I wouldn't say it was I got to go do this or you know, go do that long term. Again, coaching wasn't really it for me. It was, you know, more of a teaching thing. My father taught math for over 30 years and coached cross country and track for over 40 years at the high school level. So I saw the toll take sometimes on coaches, but I think also in there I saw some of the joy too. So when that opportunity presented itself, I just kind of kept pursuing it, and you know, it just kept rolling.
When you, I guess, have all these, you know, different personnel groups over the years, how do you, how easy is it to, like when something doesn't work, throw it out? Because, you know, sometimes I'm sure you've tried things and it just hasn't worked with the personnel you have. How easy is it to throw it away and start anew, or is that difficult for a coach?
I think probably every situation's different. For me personally, kind of even going back to a year ago when, you know, we thought so and so was going to be the point guard and kind of moved her into the post, and we moved a freshman to the point guard spot. I'm big on realizing what's working, what's not working, and you know, that's what great assistants are for too. When you surround yourself with a great staff, and at Prince Community, I'm blessed to have Amani McCoon, Patrick Donnell, Terrence Young, and Kier Young, and they talk to me all the time. We sit and have conversations post practice about what could go better tomorrow's practice and so on. And you know, the same thing in an in-game situation or an offensive situation, defensive situation. You know, you keep listening to your coaches.
Is there been any, or have you at either stop, Vincennes or Princeton, had to kind of work the hallways to, you know, recruit? kids, or has it always been pretty cut and dry? You had a roster kind of already assembled.
By the high school level, it's usually pretty cut and dry. I do. I'm actually a middle school teacher, so I'm at Princeton
Oh,
Community Middle
okay.
School, and Vincennes. I was same situation at the middle school there. So that is a situation where I really think it's important to develop that program at that middle school, sixth grade level, even below, if you can. And so I definitely walk those halls, trying to talk some kids that I think would be great fits for our program into it.
So I guess that means, yes, is there a kind of effort to keep the middle school terminology and the high school terminology the same?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And again, I'm very blessed. With great coaches down there at the eighth grade level. We've got a guy named Ron Hudson who used to be the junior varsity coach here at Princeton when some kid named Jackie Young was here. So he knows a lot about winning and success and what it takes to build a program. Seventh grade, I got longtime coach Jeff Cook there. Sixth grade, I got a great guy named Tyrone Taylor and a great guy named Robert Vermillion working with them. And our fifth grade coach is a former player of mine back at Vincennes named Casey Kramer, who graduated in 2017 for us. So every one of them, we meet all the time and just discuss, different philosophies I have, try to share with them. And like I said, I've known all of them for quite a while. So it's great working with them and developing that steady terminology, and not just terminology, but expectations. Again, we over me type of philosophy.
So when you mentioned Jackie Young, and when she was there, the program obviously had great success. That kind of comes with the territory. Uh, has there been any pressure in the years of since to try to match that, even though obviously the talent isn't the same, just because almost no one has her talent level?
Right. Yeah. She's a once in a generational type of kid, man. You talk about someone that did it at the high school level, twice at the college level, gold medal, and now twice at WNBA level. So once in a generation type of thing. So I don't think there's ever going to be that pressure to beat Jackie just because everybody realizes she's her own um, type of animal, if you would, like just a beast on the floor. But what it does do, it creates that excitement level as young girls see, what Jackie was able to accomplish. So it kind of just builds excitement, if you will, from an expectation point. We put our own expectations on ourselves, and they're pretty high. I think we shocked some people with the sectional last year that others didn't expect, but it was something we expected. So, when it comes to the expectation game, our own expectations are usually pretty high.
I will ask, of course, because you have someone the level of Jackie Young and the I guess the exposure she got. Do you think you're starting to see people that saw Jackie when they were a little bit younger starting to are now starting to be high school age? Do you think that's played any role in I guess maybe not the participation in the team?
No, for sure. And we have several relatives of Jackie, in our program. So they've definitely been around it a lot. Two of my assistants, Terrence Young and Kier Young, those are Jackie's brother and sister.
Yeah.
So she's around our gym pretty frequently anyway. So it's great for me as a head coach because the kids get to see what work ethic is. They see her come in, get shots up, go through ball handling drills, get in the weight room. So it definitely just adds to what we're trying to do.
The the program and the sectional victory, last year. Do you kind of use that as like sectionals are goal this year, or do you try to move the goal up a notch this year because you won sectional last year?
No, for sure. Great question. We kind of look at what we were able to do last year, and the goal's higher. I mean, you want to take the next step. At the same time, we talk to the kids all the time. Don't let the pressure take away from the pleasure. If we, sectionals are hard to do. They're hard to win. They don't come by easily. A lot has to happen for you to be able to cut those nets down. And so we kind of talk to our kids. We have what the goal and expectations are, but that doesn't affect who our team is. It's really more about the journey than the climb. It's about what it takes to get there. And we talk about all the time, if we play the right way and we do things right, the rest of that's going to take care of itself, and we'll be where we'll be when it comes season's end.
Is there any skill as a coach, and by skill I mean rebounding, shooting, ball handling, that stuff that you look at the most in a player, and it's kind of like your bread and butter, like you prefer this skill over the other ones? Obviously, every coach would like everyone to be good at everything, but is there any skill that I guess you put a premium on?
I've definitely been told from players over the years that rebounding is something that means a lot to coach. I had a kid many years ago. I helped her with a government assignment over the phone, and she reached out, had a question, and I was helping her out. And, I told her, anytime she needs something, let me know. And she replied back, yeah, probably until I miss a box out. I thought, okay. I said, Megan, I think you definitely understand what's important. So I think rebounding to me, and I think part of that is it's a skill, but it's also desire.
Yeah.
It's effort to go get the ball and help your teammates.
So with that being said, are there any of those skills that now that you view them as less important, but because of just the way you like to play as a coach, that you've kind of discounted, be that, mid range, outside shooting, finishing inside, and that stuff that you maybe don't see as important as maybe some of the other ones?
I don't know that I could go back and rank in the opposite way. Obviously,
Yeah.
rebound for me is the biggie, but you've got to be able to take care of the basketball. You got to be able to handle the basketball. Your mid-range game is extremely important, and knocking down outside shots. I guess for me, if you're missing shots, it's not the worst thing if you're taking great shots.
Yeah.
So maybe the shooting percentage down a little bit as long as you're taking great shots.
As long as you can recover in other aspects.
No, absolutely. If you can defend and rebound, then you've got a chance to be on the floor.
So when you first started coaching, when you first kind of just, I guess, happened into your first couple coaching jobs, did you know what you're doing? Obviously, you didn't know what you're doing, but were you just kind of like trying things out, or did you even have like a scheme, or was it like go thrash around out there for a few minutes?
I definitely felt like I knew what I was doing. Looking back, I probably had no clue what I was doing. I will say right at the beginning, as far as first year head coach, one of the moves I made was hiring Janice Hurt, who was a long time Vincent's Lincoln former head coach. She'd played at Lincoln and Marion College. So, bringing her in right away, and guys like Barry Clegg and then Megan Eck, Craig Battles, like they helped kind of mold me, if you will, into a decision maker that tried to make best decisions for whole programs. So looking back, I'm sure I had no idea what I was doing, but definitely tried to get better with each year.
So you mentioned how big rebounding is for you, and we know this year that you're going to be a little bit smaller, and that your kind of defense identity is going to be putting pressure on the ball and trying to, I guess, create turnovers. Is there how do you kind of coach your team when they're smaller? How to rebound? Is it is it one of those everyone needs to box out, and you might not get the rebound, but someone else might get the rebound type things, or?
No, absolutely. It's team rebounding. It's what we talk about all the time, and it's do your job. Obviously, offensive rebounding is one thing. That's more about angles, honest. Yeah. And we're good at offensive rebounding because we're able to get there quick. We can fill gaps, take good angles. So we kind of drill that, if you will. Then defensive rebounding is just about effort. Do your job. You box yours out. Trust your teammate to box theirs out. And then it's a matter of, we always talk about hit and go get. So making sure we get the box out and then release and go get the ball. But a lot of drill, a lot of repetition, a lot of film. We'll call someone out on film if it's a missed assignment, and that usually takes care of that. And then you can always run them in practice too if we're not rebounding well. That usually works.
So you kind of, when you mentioned film, that was exactly what my next question was going to be. Over your years, how much has the film evolved, and how much has like film became a bigger thing for a coach?
From my standpoint, I wouldn't say bigger, because even in the beginning, it's really evolved, like you said. And it's so different than what it used to be. I came from an era of VHS tapes and cutting those things up, spending a lot of time going from one tape to another, dual deck VCRs set up in the coach's office and at home as well. And then that transition to DVDs a little bit easier. Nowadays with Huddle, it's just a quick splice and you can share out to kids right away. So I think kids watch more film on their own now because we can put that in their inboxes. But I still think it's extremely important to watch it with your teams, which is something I've done since day one of seventh grade. I've always valued film because seeing it is a lot different, especially on the girls' side of the game, because you know we're fortunate again here at Princeton because our girls watch Jackie Young and the Aces. But a lot of student athletes in high school don't watch a lot of basketball as much as they did, years ago, especially again on the girls' side. So film is huge because they don't always watch basketball to learn it.
You actually brought me to again, you led me right into a question. How much do you watch the Aces just because Jackie was there? But how much do you try to maybe take stuff from there and apply it to high school level? Obviously, you kind of scale it down, but do you do any stuff? Do you see stuff that they do and go, let's try that? Just because
Oh
they're
no, absolutely. Yeah, there's some sets that Becky Hammond's one of the best in the business. Guy side, girl side, whatever. She's really good. Her out of bounds stuff, especially her sideline out of bounds stuff, is really good. So there's some stuff we try to do there. I loved listening to our players talk the other day as Ariane was on the radio and she kept using the word connected, which is something we kind of took that directly from the Aces and how connected, they were as teammates. So I like hearing them share that kind of stuff. But yeah, we actually got together as a team to watch Game 4. Just happened to be perfect on a Wednesday evening at 7. So we had a late practice that night. My wife catered food in for the team, and we watched Jackie together. Up in our film room. So that was definitely enjoyable. And we went to the Aces this summer. Actually saw them play at Gamebridge. Got to play on the floor afterwards as part of what they call the Court of Dreams. But it was definitely fun to watch her play at that high level and just watch the kids. I mean, I spent a lot of time watching the game and a lot of time just watching our kids watch the game, which was enjoyable for me personally.
How much do you try to keep your and I guess this is an answer now. You kind of answered my question. How much do you try to keep your girls connected as teammates? Because sometimes you're, or you only have them for so much during the year. Sometimes they can kind of drift apart. Is there any effort to kind of make sure they're connected and have like I guess bonds slightly outside the team or outside of the team?
It's huge. It's huge. High school is definitely, like you said, a little bit different in terms of we share our kids. We're very proud of in the fall. We only have 2 of our basketball players that do not do a fall sport. Everybody else is involved in something. The spring, it was 4. So everybody's somewhere else in the off season. So we don't do as much there. I try to respect, the other sports seasons and kind of stay clear of that, if you will. But during our summer, June, that's kind of our time together. We'll go do some things off the court. One of our favorite things I think to do is go down to Louisville. They have a thing called Louisville Activate, and it's almost an interactive arcade, if you will, where the kids are like the game pieces. So they have a blast with that. Team meals together, sitting down watching Jackie together, amusement parks together. Anytime you can get a team together, you're just going to build cohesiveness. You're going to connect. And if you really want to do something, and be successful with high school kids, they have to be connected. They have to care about each other. They have to trust each other. So the more we can do that, the better for sure.
Wind it down here a little bit, Coach. Your first game is against South Spencer, correct?
Correct.
Saturday, the 4th of November?
Yep, Saturday the 4th, Tiger Arena, noon and 1:30.
So when your game is, you still got a little bit of time before your game. You got a little bit of prep time. What are you doing like right now don't tell us exactly what you're doing, but what you're doing, what's the mindset right now? Like for practice, like are you preparing for South Spencer, or are you still doing general, you know, our own offense, our type, your stuff
Yeah,
that's
no,
unique to you?
another good question. No, um, I'm really big, especially in November. It really is all about us. We want to compete and do well in the conference. We have some goals there too. But one, South Spencer is going to be a new team, new coach this year, graduated a lot of kids. So it's hard to really prepare for a team you don't know exactly. We got some ideas based on their returning kids, but it's really more important how we play right now, and getting ourselves in basketball shape because, when we got all of our kids in, so our last day of fall workouts with fall sports still going on, we had 3 kids in the gym, and then we turned around last week, and now we're at our 15 to 18, depending on the day right now, as far as some other things still going on. We're actually still not all in. Mallory Watt is going to state in cross country, and she was a starter for us last year, so we're still not all together. So it's still a matter of just perfecting what we want to do, and it's really all about us.
So that's really all I have on question wise. Is there anything you want to add?
Um, no, just again, appreciate letting us come on the show, Hunter, and talk about our Lady Tigers, and very, very excited to see what lies ahead for this group. They are a very connected group. They play really hard for each other, and they play the game the right way with a lot of fun and joy.
So I've been Hunter Way at the Athletes Lounge podcast, and thanks for coming on, Coach.
Nope, appreciate having.
Hey guys, this is Hunter with the Athletes Lounge podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe where you can. Thanks.